Sometimes when I speak to my business audiences, I ask the question, what is the purpose of a business? And almost invariably people shout back, to make a profit, to make money, to make a lot of money, to get rich. Well, that's not quite correct. The purpose of a business is actually to create and keep a customer. And if you look at a business, if you look inside it, you'll find that all successful businesses are focused on creating and keeping customers, marketing and sales, getting the customers, and then servicing the customers and holding on to them. A profit is the result of creating and keeping a customer in a cost-effective way. Therefore, the basic management functions are innovation and marketing, because only they are capable of creating and keeping customers, generating sales, revenues, and cash flow. The most important skill of the entrepreneur or the business person is the ability to market the product or service. An average product or service, intelligently and aggressively marketed, will run circles around a brilliant product or service with poor marketing behind it. Unfortunately, most entrepreneurs and business people have never been trained in marketing. But fortunately, marketing skills can be learned, and that's what we'll talk about in the next few minutes. Now, the key to marketing the product is this, marketing is the process of determining what is to be produced and sold. It requires analysis of the market, analysis of the competition, analysis of trends, customer service surveys, customer questionnaires, and so on, to find out what it is that people really want and will buy. On the other hand, selling is the process of determining how the product or service is to be sold once it has been determined by the marketing department. So the marketing department determines what, and the selling process determines how it's to be sold. Now, the key question in marketing is this, and I came to this after many, many years. I put it all together in a single paragraph. And here it is. What exactly is to be sold, and to whom is it going to be sold? Those are the first two questions. What is the product and who is the customer? The third part of it is, and by whom is it going to be sold? In other words, who's going to actually do the selling and get the money? And the next part of the question is, how is it going to be bought and paid for? In other words, what is the sales process? And how is the product or service going to be produced, delivered, and serviced? So let me repeat that one more time. This is the key question, and it's this, is what exactly is to be sold, and to whom is it going to be sold, and by whom is it going to be sold, and how is it going to be sold and paid for, and how is the product or service going to be produced, delivered, and serviced? You have to ask these questions over and over again, because our discovery is this: inaccurate answers to any one of these questions can lead to business failure. For example, you could have the question wrong, who is going to sell it? If you don't know who is going to sell it, or how is it going to be sold, or how is it going to be produced or delivered, or exactly to whom is it going to be sold and at what price? If you don't have the exact correct answers to these, what happens is you'll go off on the wrong track, and you can often lead to the failure of the business. But if all these questions are answered correctly, and they need to be revisited over and over again, you can make a very successful business. Well, here's a rule. The product or service must be well suited to the current market. It must be priced appropriately and aggressively marketed and sold. Let me repeat that. The product or service must be well suited to the current market. How can you tell? Because people want it and are buying it. It must be priced appropriately relative to competition and relative to what you've got contained in the product or service, and it must be aggressively marketed and sold. You have to always be thinking of ways to get more of your product or service to your customers in a competitive market. The first rule of marketing is that the customer is always right. The second rule, by the way, is when in doubt, refer back to the first rule. In our marketplace, the customer is everything. The customer is the central focus of all marketing efforts, all business efforts. You can always tell a good company because they are obsessed with customer service. They think about their customers, talk about their customers, discuss their customers. They think about their customers all the time. Well, unsuccessful products that are not selling must be either improved or removed from the market. Now remember this, 80% of all the products and services that will be in use 5 years from now have not been invented. 80% of the products in common use today will no longer be in the market 5 years from now. Companies spend fortunes to bring products and services to the market, but what happens is about 80% of them fail every year. So if a product is not working, you either have to improve it, revise it, reorganize it, or remove it from the market and sell something else. Remember, it is not what a company produces, but what customers want that determines marketing demand. It's not from the inside. As Peter Drucker says, there are no profits inside a business. All profits come from creating and keeping customers and satisfying those customers so that they buy more and talk to their friends about what you sell. Now, a new product or service must be better in at least 3 ways to break into the market. First of all, the product must be clearly superior in some way. The product has to be better than any other product out there in some way. For example, the product can be cheaper, the same level of quality at a lower price. This is one of the reasons why products from Asia are becoming so popular. They're as high a quality as anything else that has been offered, especially from Europe or other manufacturers, but they're much cheaper because of their cost of production and labor. Or the product can be easier to use. Making a product so it's much easier to use, much more convenient, can make it more valuable and help you break into the market. The product can be more convenient to buy. By making the product easier to acquire, you can make your product attractive enough to break into the market. For example, making your product available like Amazon, perfect example. If you want to buy a book, you can go to Amazon. It's delivered to your house in 3 days. You never have to leave your home. You can see a mention of a book or hear about a book. You can buy it with 2 clicks, which is a critical thing. Click onto Amazon and 1-click buying. So they made it so easy to buy millions of products that they've been able to create a billion-dollar business. Another way is the product can be more attractive. It could just be more beautiful to use. Luggage, cosmetics, fashion, cars, home, furniture. Just if it's more beautiful to use, that can help you to break into the market. The product can offer additional features or benefits. For instance, a very simple camera can be upgraded and improved, so now you can get a digital camera that can shoot movies, that can take photographs, that can send them and put them onto the internet. You can get cell phones that can do remarkable things. With these additional features and benefits, they sell tens of billions of dollars worth each year in a market that did not even exist a few years ago. Another example is the product can be of a higher quality at the same price. Many manufacturers are finding ways to build quality into their products, keeping the price the same but selling vastly more of the product because people will pay more or buy more often a product or service that is higher quality. The product can satisfy the customer's deepest needs better. It can satisfy their emotional needs. So you have to look at all the different ways, and you must find at least 3 ways that your product or service is superior if you want to break into a competitive market. Now, there are 4 keys to strategic marketing. These have not changed in all of history, and you need to keep coming back to them over and over again. The first is specialization. In specialization, the company specializes in providing a clear benefit to a particular customer. Only huge companies can offer a lot of different products and services. But companies, small and medium-sized companies, have to specialize. They have to specialize so that when people think about your company, they think about your area of specialization. I'll give you an example. There are some restaurant chains that specialize in steak. When you think of their name, you think of steak. Some specialize in seafood. When you think of the name of that restaurant, you think about seafood. It doesn't mean that they don't offer other dishes, but they specialize in a particular highly popular dish. Now, there's several ways you can specialize. You can specialize in a particular market. For example, you can specialize in the California market. You can specialize in the homeowners market. You can specialize in the doctor's market. I had a very good client once that specialized in law offices. all they did was sell to law offices, and they eventually built the largest company in the country, a billion-dollar business selling products and services just to law offices. Right? A second way that you can specialize is you can specialize providing a particular benefit. Many insurance companies do this. HMOs do this. It can be a medical service of some kind, but it's a specific benefit that you specialize in, and then that's all that you do. And you don't digress from your area of specialization. Sometimes your company can specialize in providing a particular service. For example, there are companies that do carpet cleaning, window cleaning, drape cleaning. They specialize just in that service, and they concentrate on getting better and better in a specific area. Some companies specialize in cleaning and detailing cars. Other companies specialize in interior renovations. But they don't try to be all things to all people. They specialize in a particular service. Another area that you can specialize in is in a particular technology. Microsoft, for example, specializes in personal computer technology. Intel specializes in chips, in technology. So you can specialize in a particular technology, and that determines your whole business. Sometimes the company can specialize in servicing a specific type of customer. Some people service teenagers and focus on teenagers. Some focus on senior citizens. Some focus on doctors. Some focus on lawyers. So you can take a specific type of customer and specialize in that customer. And finally, you can specialize in a particular location or area. Many companies will decide to specialize just in a small community. They will focus just on becoming the very best known for their specialty in that particular location or area. What are your areas of specialization? How would your customers and colleagues describe you in terms of what area do you specialize in your business? Now, the second part of marketing, which is my favorite part, is differentiation. There's a book by Reese and Trout called Differentiate or Die. And what it basically says is that all marketing is differentiating yourself from your competitors. It is the key to success in business. It means you have to set yourself aside and apart in a special way from everyone else who competes with you in your business. We talk about this over and over again. It's called your competitive advantage. And the question is, what is your competitive advantage? What do you have in your business that makes your offerings superior to any of your competitors? What is your competitive advantage today? What will your competitive advantage be tomorrow, the way market trends are going? What should your competitive advantage be if you wanted to be the best in your business? What could your competitive advantage be if you were to upgrade the quality of your products or services? But the rule is, if you don't have competitive advantage, you've got to develop one. If you can't develop one and be superior to your competitors, you should abandon the market and get into the area where you can be excellent. And this brings us to the second part of differentiation, is your area of excellence. You have to be excellent, superior to your competition in one or more ways, and you must be crystal clear what they are. Everybody in your company must know what they are, and you must constantly strive to maintain your lead in that area of excellence. That is the key to selling more and to selling more at higher prices. And the final part of differentiation is called your unique selling proposition. This is the one feature or benefit or distinctive characteristic that makes your product or service clearly superior to your competitors. It's something that only you have, that no other competitor can offer, and customers are willing to buy and pay for that unique selling proposition. Question is, what is yours? What is your unique selling proposition? Now, the third part of marketing is called segmentation. Segmentation means focusing marketing and selling efforts on a specific type of customer. What kind of customer? Well, you identify the exact type of customer who can most benefit from the superior features of your product or service in your area of specialization. This becomes what is called your target market. These are the prospects that you focus all of your attention on. Identify the precise location of your ideal customers. Where are they? Geographically, where are they in businesses? Where are they economically? Where are they in their careers? Second of all, you identify the ideal method of sale to those customers. Sometimes you find that your ideal customers prefer to buy by the internet, prefer to buy by direct sales, prefer to buy by coming to your establishment, prefer to buy by catalog. Figure out the very best way of selling to them, and then identify the ideal marketing channel. What is the way that you advertise, promote, get the message out to that market segment? All sales success today depends upon segmenting your market, your target market clearly, and then focusing your marketing efforts on convincing them that in your area of specialization, your area of differentiation is of greatest concern to them and is the real reason why they should buy from you now. Now, the fourth part of marketing is concentration. First of all, specialize, then differentiate, then segment, and then concentrate. Focus all your time, attention, and money on those customers, your ideal best customers. Remember the 80-20 rule. 20% of your prospects will turn into 80% of your sales. 20% of your customers will buy 80% of your products. 20% of your customers will count for 80% of your profits. 20% of your customers will account for 80% of your referrals, and so on. Your job is to keep thinking who are or who could be your top 20% of prospects and customers. Once you've determined who they are, concentrate your best people and resources on selling your most profitable products and services to your best customers. One of the key questions in marketing today is, who are my most profitable customers? And how could you organize and reorganize your activities so you're selling more and more of your best products and services to your best and most profitable customers? All advertising and promotion must be focused and concentrated on the customers that can make the greatest contribution to your business. You know, they say there's two types of customers. They're the ones that know you, like you, have bought from you in the past, and will buy from you again if you ask them. And then there are those who have never heard of you before. And what is it that most companies do? Is they advertise and promote to customers who have never heard of them before, rather than concentrating on their very best potential customers of today and tomorrow. Now, the ability of the entrepreneur, your ability to continually innovate and create better, faster, cheaper ways to service your customers is essential. Remember, continuous and never-ending improvement. Always looking for better ways. So, continually seek out or develop new products and services for your highest profit customers. Listen to their questions, especially listen to your customers' complaints. Do you guys offer this? Why don't you offer that? I wish somebody offered this. Very often, the very best ideas for new products and services will come from listening to your best customers. Continually seek to improve your existing products and services. Never become complacent. Always be looking for ways to make them better. Like cars try to make every model year superior to the previous model year. Every year, your products or services should be superior to what you offered last year. And finally, continually seek out better ways to market, sell, promote, and distribute. Never become complacent with your ways of doing it. Now, you need to continually identify customers who are not yet being served by you. Here's one of the greatest discoveries in marketing. Your non-customer is your biggest potential market. No matter how many people are using a product or service, the number of people who are not using it are usually greater than all of those put together. So, keep thinking, who are my non-customers and why aren't they buying from you? Ask yourself, what additional customers exist for your products and services today? Where are there additional customers who could really benefit from what you sell who are not currently using it? Ask, what additional products and services could you develop for your existing customers? Remember, innovation and entrepreneurship, finding new products and services, it must be a continual and ongoing part of your business. And finally, could you improve your existing products and services in some way? How could you make them better so that they will be more attractive to more of your current customers and more of your prospective customers? To wrap up, Marketing is the process of continually seeking out new and better ways to create and keep customers. Profitability in your business is the result of finding and serving customers with more and more of what they want. Your ability to do this is the key to your success.
Hello, I'm Brian Tracy. When I was in my teens, I had a dream to become a millionaire by the time I was 30. When I reached the age of 30, I was broke, so I set it back to 35. When I reached the age of 35, I was broke as well, and then I began to give small seminars. Once a man called me, a businessman. He said, could I come and speak to his 800 independent representatives on how to become a self-made millionaire? And I said, of course. And then I hung up the phone and I realized, geez, I have no idea how to become a millionaire. I've wanted to be a millionaire most of my life. I don't know anything about the subject. So I began to study self-made millionaires. I found two things. Number one is that self-made millionaires have been studied for years and years and years, millions and millions of dollars, so we know who they are and where they come from. And number two is that if you do what other self-made millionaires have done, people who started with zero and became a millionaire within one generation, you soon get the same results they do. And if you don't, you don't. Now, the starting point of becoming a millionaire is to remember the greatest discovery of all of human life, which is that you become what you think about most of the time. If you sincerely want to be rich, to achieve all your financial goals, and to retire as a self-made millionaire, one of the smartest things you can do is to develop the habits of thinking and acting that have enabled others to become self-made millionaires. What is so hard about this to understand? Most people are thinking of how little money they have. They worry about being broke. They're worried about lack and poverty. They're worried about the prices of everything, and they're wondering why they're not flourishing financially, because they're thinking about poverty and lack rather than prosperity and abundance. Now, these habits of financial success are learnable, as all habits are, by practice and repetition. In other words, you can program yourself to think like self-made millionaires. And remember, it has to start on the inside before it ever comes true on the outside. So the first discovery about the thinking patterns of self-made millionaires is that they have the habit of thinking in terms of financial independence most of the time. From an early age, or at a certain point in life, they become focused on achieving specific goals for financial independence. They think about it most of the time. Self-made millionaires discipline themselves to make whatever sacrifices are necessary to achieve those financial goals. They organize and reorganize their entire financial lives, their earnings, their investing, their insuring and spending activities in such a way that they're all coordinated and helping them move toward hitting those specific financial targets. Now, here's an important point. Achieving financial success is very difficult, and it does not happen by accident. It happens by very deliberate design and a long period of disciplined persistence in doing the things necessary. Now, at a certain point in life, each person comes to a crossroads with his or her financial goals. One road leads in the direction of earning, saving, and accumulating, while the other road leads in the direction of earning, spending, and getting into debt. And 80% of the population take that road because it's fun and easy. Now, as a fully responsible adult, you must decide which road you're going to take. And no matter what road you've taken up until now, you're free to choose the road that you're going to follow from this day forward. One of the great lines that I teach is that it doesn't matter where you're coming from, all that really matters is where you're going. You can't change the past, but you can totally change the future by taking a different direction today. The starting point of achieving financial success and joining the Self-Made Millionaires Club is for you to accept complete responsibility for your financial life. Most self-made millionaires organize their financial goals and financial lives in such a way that their net worth increases about 8 to 10% per year on the amount of money that they have working. They set financial goals and they don't look for get-rich-quick schemes or easy money. They are patient and persistent and far-sighted. They discipline themselves to save and accumulate money over many years. They don't speculate, they don't take risks, and they don't look for fast ways to make money quickly and easily because there aren't any. As a result of these habitual ways of thinking about their money, each year their wealth grows a little bit. Eventually they pass the $1 million mark and usually keeps on going. As Einstein said, compounding is the greatest power in the universe. So the key to success is get rich slow. Don't try to get rich quick. When you become the kind of person who can set financial goals and accumulate $1 million or more, you'll also be the kind of person who can earn the second and third million as well. You know, we used to say, and I started this when I was poor, is making the first million is very hard, but the second million is almost inevitable. Why is that? It's because you have to develop totally different qualities to earn the first million, but now you have the qualities and earning the second million is much easier. And even if something unfortunate happens to you and you lost all your money, you'd be able to make it back again fairly quickly because you would have become the kind of person who can become a millionaire. Once you become that kind of person, you never lose it. There's a great story about Mike Todd, a theater director who had invested all of his money in a production and lost it all and was broke. And someone once asked him, "Hey, Mike, how does it feel to be poor?" He said, "I'm not poor." He said, "Poor is a state of mind. I'm just broke, and that is temporary." And within a few months, he was back on top again. He was once more a self-made millionaire because he had the mindset. So self-made millionaires did not gain financial success merely by luck. Luck does not factor into it. In order to become a self-made millionaire, you must set financial goals and work toward achieving financial success every day. And if you do that persistently and consistently, day by day, week by week, month by month, you will achieve all your financial goals.
Walked across the room, the note of C flat on the other piano would be vibrating in perfect harmony with the piano that you just hit. This is why very often you'll walk into a room and you'll strike it off with the person on the other side of the room. You'll have this sympathetic resonance. You get married, settle down for the rest of your life. Have you ever had that experience? Most amazing darn thing is we will walk into a room, we'll see a person, and there will just be that we'll be vibrating at exactly the same level. And it'll turn out that we're exactly the right people for each other. And we'll say it was kind of magical. And we could talk about this a lot because it's a neat thing. Also, you will have a time when you'll meet somebody and the vibrations will be bad. And later on, you find out you were right, that that's not a good situation. Well, the law of attraction says that you invariably, because of this force field of energy, like an iron magnet attracts filings, you inevitably attract into your life people and circumstances in harmony with your dominant thoughts. But it's your dominant thoughts emotionalized. It's not just the thought itself, it's a thought charged with emotion. We say that thought has no power of itself, and emotion or energy has no direction. But a thought multiplied times an emotion equals a result. T times E equals R. Thought times emotion equals result. So if you have a very positive thought, or you have a very clear idea of financial success, multiplied by the emotion of intense desire, belief, confidence, happiness, that it's going to come true, positive expectation, it creates a result consistent with it. Laws, by the way, are like gravity. If you drop a rock, it goes boom. If you drop a glass, it shatters. Gravity is neutral. It doesn't matter what you drop. Laws have a two-edged sword. So you can have a thought that is emotionalized with a negative emotion, and you'll attract exactly that into your life. There are people who have negative thoughts and ideas about other people and other circumstances, and they continually draw negative events and circumstances into their life. We have all seen situations like this. I used to have a woman working for me who was so negative that when she went near the photocopy machine, it would quit. And it's true. I mean, her negative vibrations was literally, and they would bring out the repair people, brand new machine, nothing wrong with it. Just keep her away from it, because she was so negative. She would drive, she bought a brand new car. She had just gotten divorced, and she was very unhappy. She had bought a brand new car. She drove it half a block down the street from the dealership, and it burst into flames and consumed itself. And they went, they tore it all apart. There was not a single thing wrong with the car, except she was driving it. Anyway. Now here's an important point, and it's a trap that you have to avoid. And we see this in America. In America, one of the greatest emotions, and it's one of the most destructive of all negative emotions, is the combination of envy and resentment. Is almost all of our laws, our tax laws, our regulation laws, almost half the political body in America is driven by envy and resentment of those who are more successful. So it's very easy for us, if you read the papers, to be envious and resent other people who are successful. Then once you start to envy them, you start to see that they're evil or they're bad or they make too much money or they're oppressing or exploiting the poor and so on and so forth. So it's very easy, if we're not careful, for us to criticize successful people. Yet when you criticize successful people, you activate another law which comes under the law of attraction, which is the opposite, which would be what? Would be the law of repulsion. And the law of repulsion says if you criticize other successful people, you create an anti-magnetic force that drives success out of your life. So one of the things I teach my kids, one of the things I teach my friends, is always admire successful people. Look up to successful people. Don't fall into the trap saying, yeah, he's successful, but he's not happy, or she's successful, but she's overweight, or he's successful, but his life sucks, he's successful, but he's, No. Don't get into the trap of criticizing successful people. Admire them for their success, their hard work, their energy, their years of application, and so on, and be happy for their success. Always want for others what you want for yourself. Always want for others what you want for yourself. And when you see somebody who's worked hard and achieved success, you say, that's wonderful. Abraham Lincoln once says that some people become successful as proof that others may do it as well. And so that's the mindset of the superior person. The superior person admires successful people, and as a result, they set up this positive force field of energy that draws into their lives people, opportunity, and ideas to be successful as well. Again, America is the most successful country in the world because there's very little institutionalized class envy, except in Washington. Yeah. And in America, in most other countries where people are successful, they have to hide it. In Australia and New Zealand, they have what they call the tall poppy syndrome. If you go there for any time at all, they call it the tall poppy. People who are successful are called tall poppies, and the job of the newspapers is to cut down the tall poppies. So if you're successful, you kind of have to keep your head down because it is a habit to attack successful people. Here, who's the most successful? Who's the successful American? Carlos Slim just passed him. Can you imagine that? Do you know how much stuff you have to steal in Mexico to become the richest person in the world? Unbelievable. But if you look at Bill Gates, he's our richest American, right? $54 billion. Everybody admires Bill Gates. Isn't that true? Have you ever heard anybody run him down? I mean, of our people? We don't run him. We are happy for his success because the fact that he's successful means it's possible for us as well. Now, we may not make as much money, but hey, what's 1 billion? $1 billion would be okay, right? 1 million would be okay. 1,000 would be okay for some of us. Anyway, my point is that the law of attraction is a two-edged sword, and you have to use it very carefully. And I'll come back to this in a second. The next law is called the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence says that your outer world is a mirror of your inner world, and that wherever you look, there you are. Is you live in a 180-degree mirror, and every part of your life reflects back to who you are. It's almost like what is inside yourself is reflected onto the screen. So you see this in your relationships. Instantaneously, when you change your thinking internally, your relationships automatically change. You see it in your health. You see it in your income. You see it in your wealth. You see it in your home, your car. With every part of your life is a reflection back to you of what is going on inside yourself. So if you're a very positive, happy, positive expectations, confident person who likes themselves and likes other people, you'll see this all around you. There's some people can walk into a room and people just feel it and they turn and smile. They're just happy that they're there. They can feel the vibration of a person who feels good about themselves. And other people can walk into a room and the lights will go out. People will immediately feel there's negative people. So the one thing that we can control is we can control what we're presenting to the world. We can control only one thing in the world, and it's our thinking. And the last law I want to share with you, and this is really important because it's almost a summary law. It's called the law of superconscious activity. And the law of superconscious activity says that any thought, plan, goal, or idea that you can hold continuously in your conscious mind must be brought into your reality by the superconscious. Now let me say this again because it is the greatest law of history. It summarizes all the great mental and spiritual principles ever discovered. Any thought, plan, goal, or idea that you can hold continuously, that's the test. Can you hold the idea in your conscious mind must be brought into your reality by your superconscious. Your superconscious will bring you ideas and insights. Your superconscious will attract people and resources. Your superconscious will solve every problem on the way to your goal. The superconscious will give you lessons that you need to achieve the goal and to hold on to the goal. Your superconscious will give you energy that drives you toward the goal. The most important thing of all is that the goal has to be clear. And this is the key. Now, people say, well, how do I make all these lessons work? Well, all these laws work. Well, it's very simple. You don't need to. All you need to do is have a very clear, specific goal. If you have a very clear, specific goal that you think about most of the time, what will happen is that all the laws will begin to work. So the summary of these 7 laws, which we talked about before, is that you become what you think about most of the time. You become what you think about most of the time. And if you think about a goal that is important to you most of the time, what triggers the law of cause and effect? You think about the goal and everything in your life. That becomes the cause of the effects of your life. What gives you a sense of control? Very clear idea of your goal. What do you believe in? That you will ultimately achieve your goal. What do you confidently expect will happen? That you will. Everything that happens is moving you toward the goal. What do you attract into your life? People and resources in harmony with the goal. What is the law of correspondence? Your outer world mirrors back to you your goal. And by the law of superconscious activity, if you're absolutely clear about a goal and you think and talk about it all the time, everything in your world begins to work together and move you toward the goal and move the goal toward you. Now, I'm going through a lot of stuff in a short period of time, but Harv tells me you're some of the smartest people in America. Is that true? Did anybody not understand that? So I'm going to give you a very simple exercise, which I've given to you before. Before the end of the day, I want you to take a clean sheet of paper like this and write down 10 goals. That's all right. 10 goals that you'd like to accomplish in the next year. And just write down 10. And discipline yourself to write 10. And don't stop writing until you come down to 10. House, home, car, money, health, weight loss, whatever it likes, write down 10. Then you look at this goal and you imagine that you could wave a magic wand and you could have any one goal on this list within 24 hours. And whatever it is, you put a circle around that goal. You put a circle around that goal. And this becomes your major definite purpose. This becomes your primary organizing principle. This is what you think and talk about all the time. This becomes the goal that you focus on every single day. And every morning when you get up, you think about that goal. And all day long, you think about the goal. And as you think about this goal, more and more of your subconscious and superconscious powers are assigned to help achieve this goal. As you think about the goal, you start to get more ideas and insights that move you toward the goal. And more people and resources will come out of the woodwork to help you to achieve the goal. And as you think about the goal, you'll become more positive, you'll become more powerful, you'll have a greater sense of control, and you'll start to feel, slowly at first, you'll feel yourself moving toward the goal, and the goal starts to move toward you. And you start to see things you hadn't seen before. You start to attract people and ideas you hadn't seen before. You start to have insights you hadn't had before. And the critical test, all that is required of you is for you to think continuously about the one goal, the goal that can have the greatest positive impact on your life. And you think about it all the time. And you talk about it all the time. And the only question you ask is how? How am I going to achieve that goal? Say it, say how. From now on, whenever you decided on a major goal, the only question is how. Not whether, not I wish, not I hope, not I'll give it my best shot, I'll see what happens, wah, 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 before I go to the island for the weekend. What you do is you say no. The only question is how. Because every time you ask the question how, it's like stepping on the accelerator of your own imagination and you trigger ideas. How? And the ideas, every idea is for an action that you can take. And it's an action that you can take to move towards your goal. And every time you take that action, you move faster towards your goal. And we say that God answers prayer in the form of ideas for actions that you can take. And if you take action over and over again, what do you develop? You develop the habit of taking action all the time. And the faster you move towards your goal, the faster the goal moves towards you. My friend Mark says it really well. He said, whatever you want wants you. Isn't that right, Mark? It's a great line. Whatever you want wants you. And if you're absolutely clear about it, the test is, can you think about it most of the time? And if you'll do that, what will happen is you'll have a tremendous sense of control. You will align all the powerful mental laws like a harmonic convergence of planets, and every single power you have will be unleashed and move you toward that goal and move the goal toward you. Well, geez, the timing is great here. Now, I told you I'd say something about the law of attraction. So I'll just tell you this, and this is my conclusion, what I consider to be the real secret of success. And I've run this past a lot of people here and a lot of successful people, and they primarily agree. I believe that the law of attraction is necessary but not sufficient. In other words, it is a necessary part of success because it's a powerful law, but it is not enough in itself. Are you with me so far? So I was in Korea recently, and I began talking about this, which what triggered the idea. I said, when I left Los Angeles and wheels came up, the pilot came on and said, we'll be landing in Seoul at 5 minutes after 5 tomorrow afternoon. And then I was surprised to learn that for the entire flight, the plane was off course. The plane was off course 99% of the time. It was continually off course. So what are all the avionics in the plane? What are the pilot, co-pilot, and engineer? What are they there for? To get the plane back on course. Because the plane is off course with wind shear and clouds and movement of the earth and gravitational forces and so on. Every plane is off course 99% of the time. Your life is off course 99% of the time. That's the way the world works. So here is the great secret of success. It's in 3 things. Number 1, be absolutely crystal clear about what you want as a goal. Write it down and make it measurable. Don't have wishes and hopes and fantasies and dreams and everything else. A goal that is not in writing is not a goal at all. It's what I call a cigarette smoke goal. You just blow it, it has no effect. But a goal that is in writing becomes something you can touch, taste, feel, fold, read, work on, and so on. So number 1 key to success is to have a very clear goal that you want to accomplish. Number 2 is take off. And this is the most important thing of all. That's what our Harv teaches you. That's what everybody here teaches you, is take off. In avionics, they have an expression called wheels up. They say the plane does not officially exist as a flight until wheels are up. At that point, it fits into the computer, the flight plans, and everything else. The most important thing you do in the world is you take the first step. You take the first step, and in taking the first step, as we said before, a leap of faith, but in taking the first step, suddenly everything starts to happen for you. You start to get feedback from your environment. You start to get ideas and input. You start to change course and so on. And the third key to success is keep making course corrections until you achieve your destination. Resolve in advance before you even start off that you will never quit. What I found is if you resolve in advance that this is my goal, this goal will change my life more than anything else, and by gum, I will never quit until I achieve that goal, you become a totally different person. The world is full of weak people who will try once or twice and then quit, but strong people never quit. Famous story, by the way, Federal Express, $60 billion company. Federal Express went through hell to get to the point where they were almost bankrupt. They could not make payroll. And Fred Smith, they finally told him, it's too late. We've done everything. We've borrowed every penny. We've exhausted every line of credit. We're finished. We can't make payroll. We have to shut the company down. Do you know what Fred Smith did? He took the last $25,000 that was in the company coffers. He translated it into cash. He caught the night flight to Las Vegas, and he sat at the card tables, and he played until he had enough money to make payroll. And he took a taxi back to the airport and went back and made payroll by the end of the month. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine having the guts to do that, go all in with everything? That's the kind of person that never thinks about quitting. The reason you are great is because you never think about quitting. Is that right? Now, I have to tell you a quick story. Our biggest enemy of success in life, our biggest enemy is the path of least resistance. It's the tendency to do what is fun and easy rather than what is hard and necessary. So the story, Ole and Sven, they're up in Minnesota, they shoot a deer, and they're dragging the deer back to the truck by the tail, and they keep slipping and losing their grip and losing their balance, and a farmer comes along and says, boys, what are you doing? He says, well, you're dragging the deer back to the truck. He said, well, boys, you're not supposed to drag a deer by the tail. It's a very clumsy way to